we start our meeting today, we're going to have the pledge, and that pledge is going to be led by Mike Bishop, our board member. We're also going to have a invocation given by Reverend Brian Powell from the New Heights Christian Church. I did that right, didn't I? Good. The invocation today is given for the benefit of the Board of Works, and if you don't want to participate in the invocation, it's fine. We ask or invite all denominations to come in and ask the invocation on behalf of the board or the council, and whether or not you participate will not have any bearing on the business that you've come here to conduct. So with that, I'd like for us all to stand and ask Mike Bishop to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right?
Let's pray. Father God, I just want to thank you for another day of life you bless us with, God, and the opportunity you've given us to get up and breathe and go to our jobs and tend to our responsibilities, Lord, and including this responsibility that these men and ladies have here today, God. I pray that you'll be with them as they conduct the business of the city. Give them wisdom, give them strength, God, to do what's right and best for the city, Lord. We thank you for this great city of Connersville you've blessed us with, God, and celebrate 200 years this year, Lord, and just in a few weeks, it's going to be a lot of things going on here in town, God. I ask your prayer for your protection and just a great season of celebration for our wonderful community. God, again, I thank you for these men and ladies who serve here. Bless them, keep them, bless their families, God. Bless their decisions here today, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir, very much. God bless you.
Call the meeting of the Board of Works and Safety together today. For this, our first meeting in June, our first order of business will be for roll call.
Jane Oakley, Fran Schomel,
Present.
Leonard Urban,
Present.
Mike Bishop,
Present.
Ron Coldiron.
Present.
Let the record show that we have 4 of the 5 members of the Board of Works present. We have a quorum, and we can do business. Everybody will turn their cell ringers to vibrate or off. It will help. The next order of business will be the reading of the minutes of the last board meeting.
Your Honor, I move we accept the meeting, or the minutes from the last meeting of May 20th.
Is there a second?
Second, please.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as they were printed out and sent to us. Any additions or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Gabe, I think you're up first. I should have put you at the end then, I know you'd have.
It's okay. I'm here today for the Duck Dynasty event that's coming up here June 15th. We're planning on having Willie Roberts come in. It's going to be a great event there at Spartan Bowl. And we're looking to close a few roads there just for public safety, to move some shuttles in and out, and also to get Mr. Robertson here in an orderly and safe fashion and manner. We're looking to close Grand Avenue from 19th to 20th, and asking for permission for this. And on 20th Street from Grand to Indiana, and Indiana from 19th to 20th. You have a map here in front of you. It's kind of outlined in pink. I'm a visual guy, so I think that's probably a little better way to do this.
Thank you.
Okay,
How long?
9 to 9. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on June 15th.
Okay.
when are your performances, Gabe?
The performance go on at 4 and 7 p.m.
Are you doing that for parking purposes?
Well, kind of not having parking there, just going to have as more like a place for crowds to gather and disperse and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then on the Indiana side, we're looking at maybe having the shuttles come in on that side. We got a couple locations where we're going to have cars parked and get some buses over there and try to get shuttles to drop
Have you
off.
gone over this, Chief Counselor?
No, this first time, really, we don't, the city police don't have anything to do with this Duck Dynasty thing.
I know, but you do with traffic.
Yeah,
On the street
but
closed.
this first I've heard about blocking off them streets. You're gonna have 19th open though and 20th open?
19th, not 20th. It'll just be those three streets around.
You wanna
Where it's
block
pink,
off?
eh?
Huh?
Where it's pink? Or
Yes, where's pink?
How about where it's orange on the ground?
Well, it's orange just because the grand was yellow.
So it's pink, it's supposed to be
Yeah,
pink.
it's supposed to be pink, I just couldn't get it to go yellow.
So it's kind of a horseshoe there.
Yeah, that's a horseshoe.
Around the school.
So you wanna block off 20th between Grand and Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen this, Dave, you want?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
We will have several police officers there. I think we're going to have about, I think it's 16 or 18 from that Mr. Wason's setting up, and then there'll be some state police around as well.
What's the yellow for?
That's just because of the map would only put Grand and yellow.
Because your southbound traffic's gonna have to be angled out 20th Street. Vice versa, this one, they're gonna have to put down 19th. And your 20th Street is, if you're gonna leave the intersection open,
I think we were talking about closing the intersection on the 20th.
that's gonna be, if you're gonna do that, you're really gonna mess up things.
Yeah.
Okay, if you wanna block off from here and here, that's fine, but these people have to have some way to go. Either that, or we're gonna have to block off at 21st Street, and that is really gonna be a mess.
Do you have to block 20th Street, Gabe?
Where you talking?
Yeah, we have to block 20th because that's where he's gonna come in. We went over a plan with the state police and they want to bring him in to the bowl, right where that alley is right there. He'll actually come in that way. Once we have
That's fine, but I think you need to leave that intersection for an escape here. Because also you have to think
That's
about,
what we gotta do, that's what
you
we
gotta
gotta do.
think about emergency services too.
Yeah.
Coming down through here, like EMS or whatever, is going for something else. And the same there. That ought to be, open.
Yeah, we didn't worry about this one, but
But I think,
20th we talked about.
I think you're going to need to block that, because if not, then you're gonna have to block off at 21st Street. Because there's no place for this southbound traffic to go.
What would you think if we just blocked off half of the Grand Avenue place and made the traffic one-way south for that 9-hour period or whatever that period is?
Half of which now?
Half of Grand Avenue.
Mayor, I think what he's asking is fine, as long as that
Okay, as long
intersection
as
is
you
open.
think it's fine with me.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, as long as he leaves that intersection open. If they're coming down the Grand and they get to 20th Street, they can go out through
But can
20th.
we get a fire truck to the school?
Yeah,
Oh, they were trying to have some things set up there. We're actually working with the Everton Volunteer Fire Department.
but you're gonna
Down
have
there.
police officers out here.
There'll be some police officers out there. I don't know exact locations of all of them, but they'll be all around.
Okay, we can't work with the Everton Fire Department
I
inside
know,
the city.
I'm just saying there'll be police firefighters
But
there.
what we need to do, if you need a fire
Yeah,
battalion there, what we would do is we would take one of our crews and station them up there with the fire truck.
yeah.
And then we would
can
ask
do that.
Everton to stand by for us or something.
They're
like
gonna
that.
help with some other things. They're
Okay.
not there for fire.
Okay.
What about the
Here's
res?
thing, if you
What
do
about the
this,
res?
that's not gonna be a problem. Because if you have a policeman here, and down here is open, right?
Yeah, this will be open.
That's no big problem here.
Sounds good.
This up here, these gotta be open.
Sounds fine.
Because if I got traffic coming this way, that means I'd have to block here and block here and block at 21st Street, and that's way too much.
Well, 19th will be open, right?
19th will be open,
Yeah.
and
So people
20th
could come out
will
and
be
go over.
closed, but the intersection will be open just for that
If
escape.
that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do, I mean.
Are you gonna do anything like 3 or 4 blocks north and 3 or 4 blocks south to warn people that this is gonna be closed so you don't have a lot of congestion there?
We can, I mean.
I would think you'd have to have signs, road
Put
closed
signs,
ahead or
Something,
something.
just inform the people
What about-
it's gonna be closed.
I think if you put the barricades up there, right where I've got them, I think that'll be sufficient,
Okay.
because people
What about
have
the
ways to get out there.
What about the residents on Grand between 19th and 20th on the west
I don't
side? Will
think
they
there
have
are
vehicle
any.
access?
There-
There are houses.
There are
between-
houses.
Yeah, there is.
There's not very many.
There's not very
There's an
many.
alley
You got
behind
the
there's
it.
church,
an alley
and you got
behind
Effie's Kitchen, and I think 2 houses
Yeah.
are for sale, aren't
There
they?
is an alley behind it.
And there's an alley behind
Okay,
there, so.
so they have an alley, so they have access.
And the hospital's on the other side, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
actually closing their side off anyway.
Fire chief, did you look at it?
No, but
This is our last meeting, and I don't want you to come to me and tell
I've
me,
been in
hey,
contact with the state. We have to do a walk around
I'll
the day
spare
of
the
it,
moment.
plus we're gonna be there Friday. And we're gonna make sure where you're gonna park your buses and everything, so you can't restrict anybody in and out of the building. Where you gonna put the,
Buses are going over here.
over on the Indiana side? Okay, nobody's gonna park in the little
No.
cubby there,
No,
okay?
except for Mr. Robertson's little brigade and the state police.
that's gonna be on the
We will
20th
have a
Street.
truck and inspectors there to make sure doors are open and everything.
You've talked with them, and you're gonna have a fire truck there with the
I
crew?
talked to,
Chantel?
yeah.
I don't know, she may have talked to you already.
Yeah, we're planning on meeting with them Friday and going over our plan, but as far as I knew, it was all right. I wasn't familiar with this. We will have a truck there.
And with that big a crowd, how about first aid unit you gonna have? Is Dale here? We work with him, Gabe, too.
Yeah,
I'm sure we got plenty of safety.
Yeah, we'll make sure we have plenty there. I think the hospital's gonna have some people over as well,
Okay.
so I think that'll be, there'll be some.
Gabe, does the hospital let people park over there in their parking also?
No, as far as I don't think so.
Because there's going to be a problem.
But they're gonna let you park on the street, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, there is a parking issue. That's why we got a couple of locations where we're looking at, having parking and then.
Bus them from like the high school. or-
Yeah, bus them from different locations. We already locked up the Kmart parking lot. We're gonna bus them from there. We've talked about a couple other locations. I'm not sure if we got them finalized.
How about
yet.
the old middle school down there by?
Actually, yeah, that's another one. The school's gonna be, one of the, I think it's the, middle school athletics and high school athletics are gonna be some parking spots up here at the old high school, so.
Okay. All right, so we're ready to go, right? All right, public safety is all satisfied. Yeah, I need a motion in here, right?
I'll get some barricades.
Yeah, I'll make
All
the
guys
motion
today.
that we close the streets of the Duck Dynasty on June 15th. The Iowa Grand and 20th from Iowa to Grand. Indiana, I'm sorry, Indiana to Grand.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Got that done, Gabe.
Thank you, Gabe.
All right. Now we got a request to hang a banner for the Soapbox Derby on June 4th, 24, John Pawsey.
I'm here.
How did you slip in there and get that the whole time? Huh?
I don't know.
Man,
It was
You must have had an inside track with,
I just made a phone call.
it's easy.
The agenda maker, huh?
I knew who to call, that helped.
I don't think that's a problem. It's open, I know, so.
We want to try and promote the Soapbox Derby as much as possible. There might be some confusion with people thinking that we've already held the Derby with the practice sessions that we've had. Of course, we'll have one coming up this coming Saturday. It's the final qualification day, but that's for the kids to get practice and make sure they're safe while they're driving the cars. The actual date of the race is June 22nd and 23rd.
Okay, this is the banner at the normal location. And there's gonna be a banner on the railroad trestle for,
That's bicentennial.
okay. I move we grant the request to hang a banner for the Soapbox Derby June 4th to the 24th.
Is there a second?
Second, please.
Any discussion? Anybody out there have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, John
Thank you.
Pawsey has a request for, you stay there right there, John. Wants us to remove some surplus furniture from the Visteon building. He's got a list of it with pictures, and I went over this morning. I agree with everything except the rolling stairs. Is that particular something you need?
I think they would appreciate it. It's the one on the second floor on the back.
Are there several of those up there?
There's several of them in the building. That one's the shorter one, I think.
Okay, because sometimes I think we might be using that to work on things up there like steam wash or,
I'll check with David Joe first, to be sure.
well, I mean, the company that's coming in is gonna be pressure washing them.
I don't think it's something that they would actually want to use.
I mean, just temporary one to get up to the
Oh,
ceiling.
sure, yeah.
Are there several of those up there, David?
This one's a
Any
small
problem
one
with that one?
anyway.
It's a
It's not
short
a
one.
great big one. It's really,
Well, everything that's on there is
Ceiling
stuff
height.
that's pretty much been.
And who are you wanting us to give this to, the Christian school?
Yes, Community Christian School.
And they'll give us a receipt for it. David, you've been over it all, is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
You checked it all out?
It needs to go.
how about the sanitation of all this? Is it okay with that, Dave?
Yeah, it's okay.
Mayor, I think we need to make some findings regarding this particular equipment before it's donated.
Okay, what do you mean by five?
Well, we need to establish that it's being donated to a 501c3 corporation.
Well, that's why I said I want a receipt from them, that
Sure.
it goes to a 501c3.
Yeah, we need to have it in the minutes.
Okay,
Yeah, it's being donated to 501c3 corporation, and also that the property is no longer needed by the city or is unfit for the purpose intended, if any, by the city.
did you get that in a minute?
Yep.
She's good on time. And then I want a receipt from them listing the furniture that they got, so she
Yes.
can put it in.
Itemize it.
Right.
And I guess we could use this, and they could check off what they took out of there, and we could use this as a part of the receipt exhibit. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, and the final determination would be that the cost of disposal of this equipment and the sale and transportation would actually exceed the value, which I think we've agreed that it would.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead with the donation of the equipment as long as the legal documentation's in place to the Community Christian School.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on it? Anybody out there, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We got that done, Val.
Thank you.
Request for handicap parking place, Chief Counselor. And you got a letter in your file from the medical center at Union County.
Yeah, that was from Vicki Whitesong. She wrote this letter for William McClay, who lives at 1323 East Fifth Street. And it's him, he's got some medical issues and everything else, and I think his wife does too, as far as getting around and everything else. And he's called me and asked me about it, and I told him he had to get a letter from his doctor and her doctor also, but he didn't know his name, and I didn't see any problem with it. Handicap sign in front of their home.
Is it in the middle of a block or anything, or where is it?
I'm not too, it's probably about the middle of the block, at 1323, so that'd be on the south side of the street in the 1300 block. So we're talking up around over by Kale and Holly, that area.
Okay.
Some of those homes have rear access, Dave, up through there. In the
Yeah, I
alley,
know
they
they
have
do.
back garages and stuff.
But I haven't went up to look at his house, see what he's got, but obviously they're closer to the front door, but that's what they use now, but sometimes the place is taken. So,
I know a lot of people up there use their back doors. I don't particularly know this place, but
I don't either, obviously.
we might
don't
have to
use
look
the
at
back
it and
door.
see what
Whenever you
they're.
have one of these, you wanna scope it out before you bring it to us.
Okay, I haven't had a chance, so I will. So I would recommend to go ahead and approve this one.
I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve handicap parking sign, is that what you're wanting? Yes, I think in front of
Handicap parking place.
1323 East Fifth Street.
And you always need to be sure and tell them that doesn't mean that it has to be left open, because anybody that's handicapped can park there.
I'll tell them that.
If they have a handicap license, they can park there.
Dave, do we periodically check these?
Yes, we do.
We've
In
taken
fact,
several away.
I think it was here,
They expire.
at the end of the year, first year,
I remember.
we went and removed a lot of signs because being out looking at houses and property through the winter months, we come across a lot of signs that were vacated and had a handicap sign
Yes.
in front of that house, so it don't need to be there any longer. So we took the proper steps to go ahead and have them removed.
We have a second to that motion?
I'll
Randy?
second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to allow the handicap sign and space at 1323 East Fifth. Any further discussion? Anybody? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. You have two resolutions before you, 2013-24, 2013-25, all transfers in the park, non-reverting, they're right in front of you. Day camp, soccer, pickleball, Roberts Building, and reverting center rents. Likewise, gas and oil to minor equipment, $60 in the park. Anybody have a problem with that? I'll take a motion.
I move that we accept 20,000, or 2013-24 and 2013-25 to be transferred.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Oh, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Before we get into Bill Ammerman, we have the company here that is working with us on the Vistion building. And they said for our own benefit, the mezzanine that runs north and south inside the building evidently is under the division of the roof, where the old roof and the new roof come together. And when that roof leaks up there, it catches water. Dave and I were up there, and we took all of the junk mostly out of that. I think it's empty, isn't it?
Somewhat.
Okay, and we loaded it in a truck, and we scrapped it, and we got the money and paid the clerk treasurer. But it is still, the ceiling's holding water, and it could be a place where it created a mold, like in the middle of the building. And they said for our own good, and if they come here, they'd like to have it out of there. I've had two companies look at it this week. David's been up there with them. I've got sealed quotes, not bids, of what it might take to get that mezzanine out of there and the time frame to get it out of there. Those of us that have looked at it know what it is. It's just kind of like a long trough up on stilts. You climb up the steps, and there were restrooms up there, and there was a ceiling in it, and there were offices up there. There's not a lot of salvage, some. So I'll ask the clerk treasurer, I don't know which is which, but we have two quotes.
They want us to remove it?
They want us to remove it, and they say for our own good, plus if they come here, they want it out.
Okay.
Because we have not signed an agreement with them, so we have to go on our own here. This is from Neil Scrap Metals LLC of Newcastle. Vistion Office Mezzanine. This proposal is for the demolition and complete cleanup of a small office mezzanine in the Vistion plant. The City of Connersville will be responsible for any and all necessary permits. The City of Connersville will be responsible for environmental issues should any arise. The City of Connersville will be responsible, I read that one. All debris will be hauled away to a sanitary land site. This proposal is valid for the term of 30 days. A certificate of insurance is available upon request. Neil Scrap Metals LLC will pay the City of Connersville $2,500 for scrap metal recovery from the site.
Was that your honor, Neil?
This is Neil. This is a 2-page, or just 1
No,
page.
it's just one.
Do you want to read it? My voice is not the best.
It's from Brian Carter at Integrity Metals. Integrity Metals will do the internal demo at the Vistion building for a fee of $35,000. Structure is tied to the roof and will need precise cutting to not cause damage. Any asbestos needs to be abated prior to the work at the city's expense. This quote is good for 30 days. Please let me know if you have any questions.
No, they're going to charge us $35,000,
That's what it says.
and this one's going to pay us $25,000. Is that right, David?
But I didn't know the numbers until you opened it, but
You said 2,500, correct?
$2,500.
And they want
I'll give that to the
35,000?
attorney and let him look at it.
Wow.
I had no previous knowing of what was what.
They both looked at the same thing, though. You were with them.
Right.
May I ask a question, Your Honor? I'm not clear, Dave, where
I mean, doesn't make sense, does it?
Plant B that runs north and south, we're at, right there where the wall breaks?
H-aisle,
Where the ceiling's the highest.
right there in the high bay, right there in front of where the old Plant B presses were at.
Yeah?
Almost in front of the
It's just to the
cafeteria.
west.
Oh, okay, I know where you're at now, okay.
It runs
Yeah,
north and
that's a
south,
big
and
mess.
it's
Hers is up above.
Yes.
The old, where the stackers used to be.
Yeah,
the old
I got
company
you.
there.
Okay.
50, 60 feet long, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
I got you. I just don't understand.
Let me
the
give you
difference
some
in-
background on this whole thing. Over the past week, we have had some experts into that building, telling us about structure, telling us about roof, rail, fire system, floors, I don't know what else. But we've looked at everything up there with experts in every field. Ronnie, I think you were up there one day. I don't know if you went inside the structure.
No, on the roof.
You were on the roof.
Yeah, we were in it, but I was basically on the roof, yeah,
Okay.
looking at some
The
mechanical.
whole report, this is a bad deal, this thing that's catching this water and causing the problem. I have to take their word for it, that it will become he described it, it'll just become full of mold. It's getting worse and worse because it stays wet all the time, it absorbs the water. And of course, we intend to fix the roof, but we won't fix the roof until we get somebody in there.
So this will correct that problem.
It'll correct that problem of creating all that mold in the center of the building. We don't have a problem right now, but he said it's coming forth.
The floors up there are wet this morning still.
You were up in the mezzanine this morning?
So how's it gonna correct the problem of removing the mezzanine?
So the water can get away and fix
It'll
it.
go right down to the floor.
It'll go down instead of staying up there.
Through the drain? Or just,
But it'll go right down to the concrete floor and then drain on the
The walls and
bottom.
everything up there is holding everything up.
I got you.
It has no place to go.
Obstructing the flow of that, whatever's leaking up there.
Yeah.
And that's where we intend to fix the roof, anyway, right at the seam.
I know where you're at, that's always been a bad place.
It seems to me like that, if that's gonna solve the problem, I mean, it's just let McNeil do the job. And it's-
You want to investigate it further, or you want to allow this to be done?
As far as I'm concerned, let them have it. If we gotta take it out, let take it out. We've got no room.
John, is it legal what we're doing?
Oh, sure.
As long as they've got their
Under the amount that,
their insurance.
concerned about. But 2,500 is being offered to the city and from
Yeah.
Neil, and it appears that Integrity is wanting to be paid 35,000 for the same work. That's what I'm getting out of it. I think you did too.
But Neil wants to take it down and take the scrap and give us $2,500, is that correct?
Is there a representative here from either company?
She is.
I'm Randy Neals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Randy
So-
Neals.
Would you,
Well, yours is quite clear. You're going to take it all out and give us $2,500.
And clean up the mess.
You talked to the other company? Did they give you any, what's it, read it to us, John.
Integrity Metals will do the internal demolition at the Visteon building for a fee of $35,000. This structure is tied to the roof and will need precise cutting to not cause damage. Any asbestos needs to be abated prior to the work at the city's expense. This quote is good for 30 days. Please let me know if you have any questions. Brian Carter.
Any further discussion?
is this removal from the ceiling gonna be a problem for your firm?
Randy Neal's been in business for over 30 years and done demolition for years, and he's very good at what he does, so he's quite aware of what he needs to do there. He's got a good reputation.
Did they clean up the McQueen's building?
Yes.
60. Well, I guess it will.
I'll make a motion to move ahead with McNeil.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Anybody out there want to say anything? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
You want those?
Yes.
I'll need, are you gonna deal with him?
Yeah.
I want you to get me an insurance certificate, right, John?
Yeah, and the city needs to be named as an additional insured.
Okay?
And what was the other?
City needs to be named as an additional insured,
Okay.
okay? You're familiar with that, you do it all the time, I'm sure. Okay, Bill, whizzing right through this meeting here until we get up to utilities.
Pay that no mind, Bill.
I'll keep it short.
Pay that no mind, Bill.
Yeah, pretend you didn't hear that.
A couple things, I had a request for trash pickup at 414 North Central Avenue. It's right down here beside Livio Utilities office was. Which it's a business, small business. So we get this board's approval or.
Who's that?
I think it's the sewing stitch or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's right down
That
there,
lady
right
has a
down
sewing
there.
place down there, sewing stitch, yeah.
Right. She's requested.
She
for
wants
trash
utility?
pickup.
Where are you gonna pick it up?
Well, I think, was it Brian's bookstore where we're having them take it on 4th Street?
Yeah, they'll have to do the same, because we can't go down that alley.
Right. And we don't pick it up on Central, so.
I don't see it be a problem if she puts it over on 4th Street at the edge.
I'll just, give this to Dave and have him arrange just like he did for, Brian's bookstore.
Okay, the board needs to approve
Yes, and I think the council does too, don't they? Oh, just the board of Works. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve trash pickup at 414 Central.
414 Central, yes.
But to be picked up on 4th Street.
Two of they picked up on 4th Street.
Yes.
Second, please. It's fine.
Any further discussion? No, sir. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
I have a request for an outside the city customer wanting to have water and sewer hookup, and it's at the corner of 300 West and Country Club Road. They've actually given an address of 135 County Road 300 West. Dave Parsley's going to build a new home right there on that corner. I told him I would just bring it to the board and get preliminary approval of it. I know it has to go to council. But there's water right in front of his house there, and we checked the elevations, and he can get on the sewer there as well, so.
Will it be, of course, it's his expense to go to the sewer, right?
Right,
And his expense to go to the water.
right, all we'll do is provide the tap for him. Which he pays fees, and he'll sign a waiver, annexation waiver, since he's outside of the city.
Well, I think that's a no-brainer. We get a customer, a water customer, and a sewer customer both.
Does the extra surcharge apply then, because he is outside the city?
Yes.
Yeah, the water and sewer surcharges on those permits.
It's 25% on water,
25% water, 10% sewer.
sewer.
Yeah.
We need a motion on that, Your Honor?
Yep, I need a motion.
I move that we accept this request by Mr. Parsley to have city water ran to his residence or whatever at 135 County Road 300 West,
And we recommend it to the city council.
and we recommend it to the city council for sure.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to allow water and sewer out there. Any discussion, anybody out there object to it? Any problem? You object?
No, what was the surcharge on sewer bill?
It's 10%.
10%.
Now, it's not 35% across the board, it's 25 on one and 10 on the other.
25 on water and 10 on sewer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Did we vote here?
Yeah.
Did we vote?
We didn't vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I was asking if anyone out there objected, I was looking behind him when he objected.
He didn't object, he said a question.
I said, any objections? And he went,
One question.
if you had a wife, Fran, and you said any objections, and she went like this, you'd say, what, ma'am?
I would.
Yeah, she just don't realize that.
You should.
Have to pick on you a little.
I guess just a little information for the board. I know the mayor is well aware of this, but we have got a meeting scheduled with Elster and Co. on a meter situation for Thursday, June 13th. So there'll be a couple of representatives comes up from Florida, and we'll meet here and see if we can get that issue, some resolution to it.
June 13th?
June 13th.
June 13th. I want one more member of the Board of Works to be with us that day. Mr. Baker will be with, I'll be with him, and we'll be negotiating. One of you or both of you will be there, right?
Dave will be out of town, but I'll be.
You'll be there, okay. So I need a volunteer from this board. You want to volunteer? Okay. So that'll be our committee. That'll be Mr. Kohler and myself, Mr. Baker, and we'll meet with that and see if we can get some resolution to this problem.
What time is it?
It's at 2 o'clock, right?
And it'll be here in the conference room.
Right.
In the conference room? Okay.
Thank you for volunteering. Go ahead, John.
Do we want to talk about contract negotiations at this time? Any at all?
I don't know, I can inform the board where we at. We came to kind of a proposal last week in our negotiations, and I thought we were going to be able to bring that to you today with a recommendation to the council. Then I got an email and that the group is not going to consider it until the 10th, which would bring it until the 17th when we would consider it at the council and the Board of Works. I am not going to allow that decision to be made without a full council. And I know that the full council will not be there on the 17th, so I'm going to have to negotiate either a special meeting or wait until July 1. I called Bob Fox this morning, but nobody returned the call to me. Gabe has to be gone that day, and I don't think it's right to have that big a decision that's going to go into 4 years, 2 years into the next administration without having a full council there. How do you feel, Gabe? Canton Board of Works, the same, Jane's gonna be gone that day too, and I'd like to have a full board here when we make that decision.
I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
Sounds fine.
So that's what I'm going to ask Bob Fox to do, is to either call for a special meeting. When will you be back, Abe?
The 20th.
Okay. So we could call a special meeting after the 20th, and you'd be able to come. And then, of course, I've got to check with other council people, because a lot of them are taking vacations. But I think I've heard this over the last, I was on council 4 and here 6. I didn't vote for it. Well, everybody needs to be here so they can actually say, I didn't or I did. Just being here is not the answer. So I think that's about all. Mr. Baker, you have anything to add to the negotiations?
No, I don't.
Did you think we were about there?
Well, we certainly have something that appears to me to be within range that we can live with.
Okay.
But it depends on how the union votes it, of course.
Did you agree? I think we should have a full council.
Oh, sure, by all means.
Okay. Go ahead.
I guess the only other thing that I have is we left the last meeting with some unanswered questions as to what we were gonna do with that blower down at the wastewater plant. Well, we still got unanswered questions. It almost looks like I'm just gonna have to get some kind of a mechanical firm to come in and remove it, and then we'll scrap it. Can't find any interest of anybody wanting to remove it to reuse it, so I haven't got any quotes on that yet, but.
Did you talk to Bob Puckett?
He's not interested in it, and the firm that you gave me, it's not big enough for them to deploy people down here to do it, and just kind of running into brick walls right now. That it just almost
Is
looks
there an
like.
estimate of a cost to remove it?
Well, I don't know that yet, I'm gonna get a couple of quotes.
Sounds like we'd be in the same thing here, scrap it, with maybe we get some money out of it, and
That's possible.
We can't remove it ourselves, Bill.
I'm not saying that we can't, but it'd be quite a chore for us. We don't really have the specialized rigging equipment to get it from where it's at.
Well, you need a boom, is that what you need?
Honestly, I'm not really sure what all we need.
it's inside too, isn't it?
It's inside,
So
in the
you've got a
basement.
roof to contend with, I've seen them.
Most likely it's gonna have to be dismantled piece by piece, and moved over to where we can remove some sections of flooring out to take it up with our crane.
Would it be feasible to talk to like this McNeil company again that actually scraps and does some demo work? Would that be?
Well, we'd certainly talk to them, I've not contacted any place to take it out just for scrap yet, but
Let's pursue that for another month, and can we do that with?
It probably won't bring that much scrap, dollar-wise.
A lot of steel in that thing.
Oh, it's not heavy.
Yeah, but
I
it's,
estimate the whole thing
It's
to be
cast, isn't
somewhere
it?
around 8,000 pounds, so it's not a tremendous amount, but
it's cast iron though, isn't it?
that's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It just seems to be a shame that somebody can't reuse it,
Could we advertise or go on
We talked
eBay?
about
or-
that, Your Honor. It's,
You know, they sell all kinds of weird stuff on eBay.
he's been there.
Have you been on eBay with it?
Well, I've looked at eBay and they've got all kinds of blowers, but this particular blower is just a specialty piece that, I mean, we may be able to do something with the motor or. pieces
John
of
is a
parts.
good man for eBay. Posey, have you talked to him about it? He knows how to do her, I'll tell you. We've sold fire trucks.
There's a lot of companies out there that sells different pieces of equipment that they've taken out. I've not contacted any of those. If we get it out of there in one unit, possibly we could do something with it.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll just let that go with you until you're ready to make a decision.
Okay. And with that, that's all I have right now, unless the board has any questions on anything.
Each time we meet, you guys ask me, and when I was meeting with utilities on this contract, give you some idea. This last month, we took in $676,007.96 at the utilities. Now that includes water, sewer, stormwater, and trash fees. Of course, you take the trash fees off immediately. Then you take out what we pay in claims in the month of May. It left us with what you might say a profit of $132,945.85. However, you got to remember, that a portion of that is designated to put back for bond payment, and a portion of that is designated to put back to repurchase trucks, equipment, and that has to be set back. And I'm telling you this so that you can simply understand that we're running nip and tuck when you figure paying the bond payment, which, by the way, we just completed, you all know, and we saved $426,000, but it's over a 10-year period. So we don't have a lot of leeway. And I've been talking with the union, and I've been talking to Mr. Baker. And I hate to make everybody out there mad, but it cost us $76,000 last year to do the sprinkling ordinance. And Bill tells me that each customer probably saved $6 a month for 4 months, $24 over the whole summer. With running as tight as we are, I'm not so sure we should recommend the sprinkling ordinance to the council. However, that's their baby, it's not ours. And Bill has done all the figures on it. But you had, over a 4-month period, it amounts to about $76,000 to the utility, which, when you're trying to buy equipment, you're trying to put in blowers, we're trying to rebuild the sewage treatment plant, you know, it comes to a lot of money. So, that's all just for information. I know it's a nice gesture, but those are the facts about it. Okay. Anybody here, anything public? I think we covered everything that everybody wanted to cover. Miscellaneous business, Ronnie, you have anything?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Mike?
No, sir.
I think the fire chief had something.
Mr. Schulman?
Fire chief, I
Okay,
believe.
we'll let him speak. Come on
I
up here.
I have nothing, Your Honor, only the fountain. I discussed that with the street superintendent. It was the fountain at the intersections isn't working properly. So.
We've been in trouble with that ever since it was put in. I think the holes in the mouth of those fish are too small. I was someplace and I found a brush about that big around, and I bought it, and we've been using that, but it lines up in there.
Yes.
Need to ask for permission to go to the council to ask to advertise for an additional appropriation of $11,000 for 6 sets of fire gear and 1 set of pants for replacement on our cycle of what we replace every year. Fire gear has a lifespan of 10 years from the date of manufacturing unless it's damaged, and these are all date of manufacture 10-year replacements. We took the gear that was left over where we had people leave through attrition and used that to replace on their part-time. So then they'll be cycling in the next 4 and 5 years too. So we're out of fire gear, is what I'm basically saying.
Show the works here, what you're talking about.
These two right here, this coat's actually due to be replaced in 15. But you won't be able to see it on camera, but you can see the difference in the color. That means the fabric's breaking down from being washed and being it's degrading, getting weak as far as the protection on it. And you can see how it's holding up pretty good. But on the new stuff, you got a thermal barrier and you got a vapor barrier. But on the new gears, the new OSHA standards, when you would pull this apart like this, it'll have a cut right here, a slit, and have a rescue harness in there. So like when you get a fireman down, you can grab hold of the strap and just pull them out. The older gear doesn't have that. So, but this one's due for 15. It's really not in that bad a shape. But here's the pair of pants. It's 14, which they've been inspected, but we won't repair pockets usually because we get an expense with that. But we missed a part right here on one of these guys. We got to get this fixed. I mean, we can't have.
This is gear we're using now.
This is gear we're using now. So, we check for rips. Supposed to do it quarterly, but somehow we missed that. That's supposed to be replaced on 14. This is a helmet I just took out. This is my helmet from last year. We used it with part-time. If you pull the helmet out, Fran asked a question a couple years ago about what we do with these. You'll see there's a date in here when they're manufactured, but all this has to be stripped out if you're gonna give it to somebody, because, you know, it soaks your sweat and your carcinogens and stuff. Well, a lot of guys will take the inside out and then hang it on the wall, because, you know, it's got the battle wounds and stuff from where they fought fire. But we're just in the need of some gear. In the past, we had more money in there appropriated, and I think what they did was, when they didn't use all of it, they would stock some. Well, that's really not a real good thing to do, because if you have boots, which we have a couple sets of boots that people, that haven't fit, they're sitting up there and we're just using them up, sitting on a shelf. So I just would rather buy it as we need it, instead of stocking some.
In the old days, they put money for fair gear, money for police uniforms in the budgets. And as you know, it's been so tight the last 6 years, we put nothing in the budget. And every time we need something, it sounds like we're always asked for additional appropriation, but we come to you and ask you for it just specifically for what we need, rather than have it in the budget, like he says, buy it ahead of time and it doesn't fit somebody. Doesn't help us at all when it's on the shelf.
And it's on the clock.
Yeah, so anyway, we've gone and we think we can get by with 6 sets of gear this year at $11,000. I'd like for you to ask for the council to appropriate an additional appropriation out of the general fund to do that. And we would get that done for the fire department.
So it's just under $2,000 for one set. Is that
Yeah,
right?
actually, we were looking at the gear manufacturer we use, which that's Morning Pride there. We were gonna be about $19.50 to $19.80 a set, and we're going with Carnes, which is a good brand. Same material on the outer shells and stuff, but we dropped it down to around, it's right at 1,700. So we were able to save one there, and then we reset the spec on it with different pockets and stuff to cut out as much money as we could. We cut $250 a set out of it.
But we're also gonna get a helmet or two, aren't we?
Yeah, we've bought 4 helmets already. We've had 2, and I think 4 sets of boots already. I still have another set of boots to buy. And we gotta buy some hoods.
The hoods are the thing that protects the fireman's neck on the back side there.
I'll make a motion, Your Honor, that we send this to council for approval for additional appropriation of $11,000 for line item number 245 fire gear that's been requested.
I'd like to second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody have any discussion on it?
Will that come out of the general fund?
Yeah. It normally would have had we budgeted it. We don't budget anything.
Sure.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're opposed tonight, and I'd like for you to bring that gear in with you so the rest of the council can see it.
Okay, thank you.
I think it means more when we can show and tell.
Okay.
You understand what condition the gear is in. Okay, thank you. Now it's down to you, Fran. Did you have anything else?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
We're working real hard on trying to get the grass cut every place. You know, with the new rule, we have to notify the owner of the property 10 days before we can cut it, and then we'll wait 4 or 5 days, and then we got undeliverable back. So we've been going, once we get undeliverable, nothing's going on, so we go ahead and cut it. I've had lots of complaints on the one on Grand, and I'm here to say, I have told the chief this morning, get it cut. I talked to Mr. O'Neill, and I think, he's gone. Joe,
You left.
he left, okay. We got a work order, so we will get that Grand Avenue, I think it's 22 something, Grand 23.
It's 2015, isn't it?
2015.
I think that's the one I saw.
I know it's bad, and I feel bad for the neighbors, but with this new rule, you gotta wait till it's 8 inches tall, then you gotta send a 10-day notice, and then we gotta get a work order. You're probably 3 weeks away from once you complain. Okay, so
Dave, do you know who the owner of the property is on Third Street Hill on the north side, halfway up?
No, I don't, without going looking.
It's not good, it doesn't look good, people coming into the city.
We've looked at it, it's on our list. We
It
also got
is.
some on South Grand, the yards are terrible, especially the one at the bottom of Spring Hill. And right there at First Street, Spring Hill.
and I'm getting complaints on the old restaurant, Bob Evans, what's going on there?
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I went up and looked at it this morning.
It reminds me, I've got a call, where Domino's used to be. Because
That's a mess.
you know, I got a call, and I got a call back, I think Speedway owns that.
Yeah, listen, you have to follow the rules, but I want you to push hard, because we don't want these yards looking like this during the bicentennial.
I know.
So push hard. Now, once we notify the people, we don't have to notify them again, right, John? We can just keep cutting.
Well, you need to put a notice
On the
at
bill.
the site that it'll be ongoing as long as the grass gets updated.
You got those notices?
Yeah, I made a new one up for
Okay.
Jackie has.
Jackie's got it.
That's basically for public relations and you guys. That's why we can't get to it immediately. When they call, they think we should be up there with a lawnmower. But we gotta go through the about 15-day procedure. Okay? All right, anything else anybody's got? Claims?
Utilities, water is $273,671.98, and that's predominantly refunding of the water bond from 2005. Sewer is $62,871.15. Stormwater is $10,224.32, for a total of $346,767.45, Your Honor.
Okay, the city claims 163, and a good price, $49,301.80. So congratulations, Julie.
Short one.
Everybody's doing their best to run close and do things. You can't complain. Everybody does their very best. I do want to say that before we have our next meeting, the Roberts Building will be dedicated on the 14th of June. The dedication is scheduled for 6:30. It's going to be open from 5 to 7 for visitors. We have a nice little ceremony and program. I would like for the members of the Board of Works to come if possible, and the council to be there. That will take place, and then we will have another meeting before the bicentennial starts. I was just notified about an hour before the meeting. As you know, we went to China 2 years ago. We visited with several mayors in several cities, and the city that we requested to become a sister city has agreed to it. They have a city council, they call it something different, and I'm talking a city of 2 million people, and they have agreed to become a sister city. Ron, you were there.
Yeah.
They have agreed to become a sister city with us, and we will have the documents ready, and I don't know how we prepare our documents. You'll have to ask how we do that. We're going to sign those documents on the 13th of June at about 10:45. So I'll have to have the council or the Board of Works here to officially do that. Put that on your calendar, if you will, the 13th of June.
11th of June.
Huh?
June
11th of June, I'm sorry, yeah, at 10:45. Okay. There'll be 7 come from China, 8. 7. 2 of them will be businessmen looking at our community. They're going to be toured by different people. Economic Development's taking care of that. And 5 of them will be city officials that will come here to sign the documents with us. This sister-city relationship is important, because then when there's something going on in their province or their city, they can deal directly with us and talk directly to us without going through the Chinese government. And it's important to have this relationship. The state of Indiana developed this about, 7 or 8 years ago, and it has worked very well. And so it'll work. And it's hard to do this because most of them don't speak English, but we will have an interpreter here. Allison will be here, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have an interpreter here. Have I covered everything?
Yes, you have
We
pretty
did.
well.
We didn't vote on the claims.
But do we have to?
Well, we didn't have a motion, we probably should.
We don't have a
I'll
motion.
make a motion to accept the claims as being read.
You do
Second.
that all the time, didn't you?
Second. Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept the claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Most important thing in the meeting, I forget. Anything else come before this board? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion that we adjourn this meeting.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Oh, happy day.
Meeting adjourned.